Hi, it's Jamie Smart here, and we're in the middle of the seasonal holidays. And Andrea asked me a few questions that I thought you might be interested in the answers to. These are reflections on the year just gone and what I'm looking forward to in the year ahead, and some of the ways that that might be useful to you. So, yeah, great to be here with you, and I hope everything's going great with you and your family.
Hi, Jamie. So, the first question that I wanted to ask you today is this one. What was the most meaningful insight that you had during 2025?
Yeah, I love this question, and for me, it was an easy one. In March of 2025, I went exploring in Colombia, and it was part of just kind of wanting to shake my system up a little bit and find out about what I'm wanting to do next and where I'm wanting to go. And I had a realization, which is, oh, everything your heart desires is downstream of the feeling you're living in. Everything that you yearn for, that you long for in life is a function of living in the feeling of the knowing of your being. And I saw that so clearly. And then there's a way in which the rest of this year has kind of been a process of me doing my best to let go of my habitual ways of navigating and to more and more find my way kind of into the moment. And so there's a way in which that realization is kind of a, a reprise of the same insight that I've been having since I first stumbled across the principles, which was like, oh, everything you're looking for out there is already there within you. Like, there's a way in which I've been kind of having the same insight over and over again, but it shows up at different layers and in different ways that are rich and nourishing to me now. So that's the gift that keeps on giving.
It's beautiful. And that's my experience as well with insights. It's like a spiral. We
Mm.
have different flavors of the same insights, but every time we're in a different part of this spiral and we can see something new, integrate that in a deeper way.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that makes
thank you for
sense.
sharing that,
Way
Jamie.
of looking at it.
And this is my second question. For people that are listening to this, what would be a useful reflection for these last days of the year?
It's a good question. I've I actually like to do something at the close of the year and the beginning of the new year, and it's just to take a moment to look back uh, at all the things that have happened, the accomplishments, the the problems solved, the obstacles overcome, the goals realized, the challenges dealt with, and that sort of thing, as well as all the things you're grateful for and all the things you've learned and all the ways in which you've grown. Because, you know, often it can seem like, oh yeah, well, not much has happened, but actually if you just take some time to look back, you find that there's lots. There's lots in our lives. And sometimes it's the little things that really make a big difference. So I find it really valuable to just look back and to kind of uh, connect with the accomplishments and blessings of the year, to let go of anything that's no longer fit for purpose, uh, to be to spend a little time just being present and reflective. And then I love to look to the year ahead. I'm a big fan of miracle questions and magic wand questions. Like if if I could wave a magic wand, or if there was a miracle tonight and you wake up tomorrow and everything's the way you want it to be, how would you know a miracle had occurred? What would you see? What would you hear? What would you feel? What would you know? What would you experience that would let you know a miracle's taken place? And a lot of times the answer to those questions will have circumstantial stuff in it, like I'd be doing this job, or I'd be living in this place, or I'd have this kind of relationship, or this kind of health, or whatever it might be. And that's all good. And the other piece that often lets you know that it would be a miraculous uh, outcome is the feeling, the way of being that goes along with it. And what I'd invite you to do is just to get a sense of that, to get a feel for what's there when you get present to a life that your heart desires. Because my invitation to you is that that feeling is coming from the heart of your being. And kind of to my big insight from March of this year, the more you're willing and able to be present to the feeling of the knowing of your being, the more you're able to go on this magic carpet ride and create the life your heart desires. So I think all of that's worthy of reflection uh, on a daily basis as well as at this time of the year.
Thank you, Jamie. Listening to you, I had the feeling of, oh, an inner compass that can guide me better throughout 2026. And I think that's a beautiful Christmas gift.
Yeah, I like it.
One more thing I'm really curious about. What are you most excited about for people in for the new year in 2026?
Yeah, I when you sent me these three questions over and I looked at this one, I was like, oh, that's an interesting one because for me anyway, you may have, well, you've definitely heard it, Andrea. I've got this metaphor of a rope bridge, and my sense is that the there's that D word hot quote I love, which is we're at that very point in time when a 400-year-old age is dying and a new one is struggling to be born, and ahead the possibility of abundance, liberty, a regeneration of arts and cultures, a relationship with each other and the natural world. Like they a lot of the entrepreneurial communities that I'm connected to really have this sense that we're in the process of moving to a world of genuine abundance for everyone. And I find that very inspiring and very moving. And I also recognize that we probably can't get there. We probably can't create that with the thinking that's got us to where we are. You know, you look around the world and there's all kinds of tribalism and war and exploitation of the environment and of other people and that sort of thing. And so it seems to me that we've got this big shift to go through at a time when in many ways our global systems and institutions are more fragile than ever before. You know, we've got the mental health epidemic and all, you know, a crisis of meaning and identity and purpose. So what am I excited about? Well, how I see it is that as we go through this somewhat fragile and precarious time, it's like we're crossing a rope bridge, an Indiana Jones style rope bridge with missing slats and people chucking, you know, boulders at us and earthquakes and all that sort of stuff. And as humanity, we've got to find our way through this precarious time to this beautiful, abundant future that's possible, but not guaranteed, right? And it looks to me like 2026 is going to be our, you know, you use the word exciting. What am I excited about? I'm excited that the next year is going to be an adventure. It's going to be an adventure. Like the world is going to be changing in ways that are hard for us to comprehend. You know, I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday. He's in his 80s, and he was telling me about life in the 1950s and about how everyone was in and out of each other's houses. He remembers when he was a kid that the, there were still horses and carts going up and down the streets where he lived in London, and like someone in their neighborhood got a car, and everyone just came to look at the car because no one had seen a car before. There weren't like no one had seen a car in real life. They'd seen them on the, you know, on at the movies or whatever. And he was just talking about the incredible, as he looked back, you know, 60, 70 years, the incredible changes that have taken place in his life. Well, the changes that have taken place in humanity, in and our standard of living and the innovation since the invention of electricity are phenomenal. It's been absolutely incredible. And we're literally at the threshold of a similar exponential change in the human experience due to AI and digitization and robotics and that sort of thing. And I know this sounds like Jamie's niche fringe thing that he's obsessed with, and I get that. But honestly, I really see this having such a profound effect, and we're going to really see the impact of it starting in 2026 and the 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 uh, the scale of it building through 26 and 27. And so to me, what I'm excited about is it seems to me that the principles understanding that I'm so passionate about is, when I listen to people out of Silicon Valley and the fast moving projects, one of the things they sometimes say in a kind of joking way is we need an upgrade for the human mind because we've evolved for a linear world, but we're now moving into an exponential world. And our habits of thinking are designed for a linear world, whereas the power of insight is created for an exponential world. And so it looks to me like the principles understanding genuinely is an understanding of the mind that is compatible with the exponential digital age that we're moving into. And not only is that going to be useful, I think it's going to be necessary. It's going to be necessary for two broad reasons. One is as we face the crisis of meaning and purpose and identity and mental health that comes with, widespread loss of jobs and need for reskilling and all that sort of stuff, the principles can connect every single human being to the source of peace of mind, well-being, creativity, insight, purpose, meaning, realization, and transformation that's there in every single person, regardless of education, regardless of position, regardless of role. So that's one thing that makes this, looks to me like essential. It's not just useful, it's essential. And the second thing is, the leaders in our world, whether that's government or more and more companies and technology companies, they and their teams are making decisions that are going to affect all of humanity and very likely the very future of humanity. And it seems to me essential that those leaders and those teams get access to the source of wisdom and intelligence that resides in them. Because the world we live in today, good news, bad news, it's an expression of the level of consciousness and the level of understanding and the habits of thinking that we've been using for thousands of years. And AI is an incredible exponential development of that. There's a quote by uh, O.E. I think it's O.E. Wilson, who the creator of sociobiology, who said the founder of the field of sociobiology, yeah, Edward O. Wilson, who said we the humanity's problem is we have uh, Paleolithic nervous systems, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. Well, he said that decades ago, but it's like, as I look around today, I'm like, oh, he's right. And we see the tribalism uh, going rampant across social media and, increasing divides in countries and that sort of thing. That's the function of Paleolithic nervous systems and medieval institutions. So I think we desperately need people as quickly as possible and as many of us as possible to wake up to the source of wisdom, truth, and beauty that's there in each of us so that we can update our nervous systems and update our habits of thinking and perception to bring them in line with the challenges and opportunities of living in a world of abundance. So that's what I'm excited about in the year ahead.
we reflect on this. There was a lot in your answer, and I love that. And yeah, I just want now to wish a wonderful time to everyone that is listening to this or watching this video, and to you as well, Jamie.
Oh,
So
thanks, Andrea. And I just want to send lots of love to you and your family and your loved ones and to everyone listening, sending you love and blessings and gratitude. I'm grateful for your attention that we're on this journey together, and I look forward to connecting with you in the new year. Thanks for your attention. I look forward to seeing you soon.